Question 4 asks us to supply all missing values for two different tables. A tells me that this is an arithmetic sequence, and B says it's a geometric sequence. So remember, arithmetic sequences are generated by adding the same value. So as x increases by 1, we're going to keep adding the same number. Now, if you look at it, I'm starting at negative 12, and whoops, that's way too big of a pen. In 2 jumps, I need to be at the number 0. So, if I'm at negative 12 and I add 6, I would be at negative 6, and if I add 6 again, I'd be at 0. So what's happening here is I move forward each time is I'm adding 6 each time. So negative 12 plus 6 is 6, negative 6 rather. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. Add 6 to that, you get a 6. Add 6 to that, you get a 12. Add 6 to that, you get 18. So those are our 3 values for A. B is geometric, and if I look at this, I'm at 200, and then I go to something, and then I go to 50. Well, in 2 jumps, to go from 200 to 50, I'm cutting it in half each time. So the sequence looks like this. I'm multiplying by 1/2. Multiplying by 1/2. So 200 times a half would be 100. 100 times a half would be 50. Half of 50 is 25. Half of 25 would be 12.5. And half of 12.5 would be 6.25. And since I'm here, let's go ahead and do question 5. Question 5 says, write an equation in the form y equals a times b to the x that will generate the xy values in question 4, part B. So we're looking at this table and we're trying to come up with the equation of this geometric sequence, ab to the x power. Remember, a is the 0th term in the sequence, and you can see our 0th term happens to be the number 200. So we know what a is. B is our common ratio. It's what we continue to multiply by. And you can see here each time we are multiplying by 1/2. So our common ratio is going to be 1/2. So our equation would be y equals 200 times 1/2 raised to the x power. And every single time x increases by 1, right, we end up taking another half of what was before. So this definitely would hit, when x is 0, it would be at 200. When x is at 1, it would be 1/2 of 200. When x is at 2, it would be 1/2 of 1/2 of 200. So this is definitely the equation. So that should be written over here. Y equals our 0th term, 200 times what we're multiplying by each time, and raised to the x power.